What's up, RH? How are you? Can you hear me? Can you all hear me? Please tell me you can hear me. Going naked face. Haha. Look how dumb I look. God, I can't wait until my beard comes back. Holy smokes. Can you all hear me though? Please tell me. I'll find out. Bam. Yep. All right, good. All right. Jim Brunson, Robin, Missouri, John Doe, how are you? Andy Davis, what's up, my friend? Simone Hamilton, how are you? Tanya, Troy, hello. Sarti, how are you? Pamela, Glendon, how are you? Gravity Cheeseburger, Lacey Harrington, Mr. DeVere. There's old Ben Dean, Josh Hoffman, how are you? Nezzy Lover, Julie JT, Damian Bloodstone, John Doe, thank you. Don't forget to hit the like button. What's up, Rockin' Steady, Savage Lunatic, Spilling Tea? Michael Middleton's in the house with us, Spirit Level 33. Marge, hello, Margie. How are you? Shit, we got piling up the people right now. Jesse, Stacy. Thanks, Glendon. I'm just going to call you Glenn because the way I say your name just sounds weird to me. So thanks, Glenn. Scoff Lagoon. Every time I see Scoff Lagoon's name, I think of the old like punk ska. Shut up, Andy Davis. I was gonna text you earlier today, but I got caught up with something. And what I tell you guys, so you guys remember Brad, right? Caden, what's going on, brother? All right, so Brad, I'm in Hannaford's. Hannaford's is like our grocery store in upstate New York. It's like an East Coast thing. It's originated in Maine. Juno, how are you? So, I get this text or call, and it's Brad, but I had the phone in my pocket, and for some reason, hey Pops, how are you? For some Robert Sharp, hey Tyler. So anyway, Joe Michaela, how are you? Did you see it? Yes, I did. Thank you very much for asking. Scott Ray, what's going on? So anyway, Brad likes to bust my ass. He loves busting chops, kind of like Andy and Rockin' Steady and y'all. So anyway, he's like, oh, I see how it is. You ditch my texts, you ditch my calls. Glades Creature, how are you? And because he knew it pissed me off. So what does it do? It pisses me off. And I'm like, I don't ditch your calls or texts. And he goes, nah, I'm just fucking with you, dude. So anyway, Brad is going to come on the show Wednesday. I'm interviewing him Tuesday. So he'll be back. He's got something very interesting to share with us. Patrick, how are you? And I'm really looking forward to having Brad back on. 78 folks, 29 likes. Let's get those likes up, guys. By the way, thank you for all the new members on the channel. Memberships are appreciated. I really do appreciate it. You guys friggin' rock. I cannot believe it. I cannot thank you guys enough. It's so weird though. Like I really feel weird sometimes when I don't know. Tanya, how are you? So anyway, I gotta tell you guys something. I was talking about the Bigfoot Fest that I went up to with Neck. when net came down and we went up to the Bigfoot Fest, and that guy that watches my channel, and he kind of freaked out. Well, another person did it to me this week, and I was with my dad, and I literally almost had a breakdown because it just weirds me out. My dad's like, what's wrong with you? Because I was driving his truck. He's got a 71 K20 3 on the tree that he can't drive because of his legs. So I drive it for him. And I'm like, Dad, I go, I am not a celebrity. I am not anything. And it freaks me out when people walk up to me and say they watch my show. I go, I don't like it. I go, I'm like everyone else. Like, I'm upstate white trash that has a YouTube channel. And so when people come up to me, it freaks me out and I don't like it. But I don't know. What's up, Radio Shack 1568? What an amazing name that is, man. I miss Radio Shack. Joe Michaela, I actually have them printed out right here for you. Savage Lunatic. Thank you. Thank you. That brings me up to guys, I'm going to tell you something. So YouTube said to me, if you start your membership, we're going to give you money. I was like, okay. So why wouldn't I start it, right? And they said, if you get X amount of subs, if you get 30 subs, we're going to double that money that you gave you. Savage Lunatic, you just made the 30th sub, so thank you very much. I really appreciate it. But yeah, so fucking awesome. Fuck the Diamondbacks, man. Fuck them Diamondbacks. I cannot stand the Diamondbacks. I hate them. Haha. So I got some great encounters for you guys tonight. This is getting big, Jeff. You're going to have to start doing a crowded bars. So that's funny. Buff Batman. I'll have to go to like a coffee shop or something because I don't drink. Rockin' steady, simmer down. Anyway, Stacy, I've got a couple videos on Portlock actually, like actually historic events and stuff like that. Thanks, Pops. I know a lot about Portlock. I've got probably 7 videos about that, and one person that actually lived 2 villages away from Portlock that would go there. Jeff, I don't want to make money with my channel. That's brand new. Do you think I have to make money? YouTube make money the way YouTube is doing things now, asking for a friend because I'm stupid. Andy, it takes a long time before your channel can get monetized. You have to have something like 1,000 subscribers and a certain amount of views. And you don't make a ton. Jamie, how are you? Brandy's in the house with us. So I've got some Blackeyed Kids encounters. I've got some Dogman encounters. I got some other military encounters, but I'm going to wait a few minutes. So do you remember talking about, Jeff, have you watched LA Misery? Yes, I have, John Doe. Yep. Yes, Glades. I had a shaving accident. I went to just trim up right here, and yeah, things went bad. Mr. D. Veer, quite possibly. That would be pretty sick. I wish if they did and there was video, that would be amazing. So a couple weeks ago, thanks, Andy Davis. I appreciate that. $20 is $20, Stacy Brooks. I think I'm going to get, I saw Mike Patton from Faith No More. We all know Faith No More, Mike Patton, greatest singer on this planet besides Chino. He was, oh shit, we got another member. Thank you, Gigi. Thank you so much. I appreciate that so much, guys. You guys are awesome. I'm having stuffed cabbage soup tomorrow. I don't know about stuffed cabbage soup. I like cabbage soup. Cabbage soup is pretty dank. My dad used to make it. Thank you, Gigi. I truly appreciate that. You guys fucking are awesome. So anyway, a couple weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, we were talking about Octopus. Do you guys remember that? Truth Quest, how are you? Thanks, Caden. I'm drinking IBC root beer. So remember how we were talking about, I was like, hey, you know, I think that octopus and cuttlefish and squid and quite possibly jellyfish may be alien from somewhere else. Scientific studies show that I may be right, and you guys may be too, because I know a lot of you guys agreed with me. And I'll read this in a second for you guys. But yeah, it was really cool. Look at my hair. What an idiot. Oh, thanks, pups. I appreciate that. Thank you so much. Let's all say a prayer for Pups. Pups probably get mad at me for saying this, but Pups had a minor fire in her house. And she's kind of going through a lot. So let's say a little prayer for Pups. Pups is great. I love Pups. I love all you guys. Janie, Ethan R., how are you? Lacey Harrington, how are you tonight? Ben Dean, you're absolutely right, my friend. You're absolutely right. Well, I was just watching because I pulled up some stuff. William, how are you? I pulled up some stuff, Maurice, and there's a guy that has I forget the name of the octopus that he has, but this thing had never, ever like seen a jar. So he puts a jar in his aquarium, puts the octopus in, and the octopus opens the jar. Amazing. Amazing. Mantis shrimp are cool, but octopus are so smart. They are just so weird. I've heard that too, Charlie Knight. Pops, no problem. No problem at all. Scoff Lagoon, just be careful. Keep looking over your shoulder. So I'm going up. I'm talking to Brad on Tuesday night. I might be up north in Wednesday. A little mental moment. Guys, hang on one second. I'm back. So, this is nuts. So everyone knows I live in the Adirondacks. I'm going to get to the octopus thing in a second. This one just freaked me out. Okay, Adirondack life. And I have a subscription to it because it's got a lot of like old pictures of the Adirondacks and just a lot of neat shit. And this has like some old maps of the Adirondacks. But this is crazy. Cold War hotspots in the Adirondacks. How North Country missile silos impacted the region in the world. We have over 12 in the Adirondacks itself. I don't know if you guys can see that. In the Adirondacks itself, there's over 12 nuclear missile silos, or were over 12 nuclear missile silos in upstate New York. I am going to be looking for those suckers. And Dale, what's going on? How are you tonight? I know I got this today. And I think I'm getting old because Sanhoff, how are you tonight? Dave, Open Coloring Book, how are you? That's a fucking cool name. Did you know the LBL was once the land below the rivers? Yes, I've got a bunch of historic uploads talking about the history of the LBL, like California Hotel and Vampire Hotel were not hotels. Teresa Wilkins, thank you so much. Holy shit, guys. You guys are awesome. And so there's a lot about the LBL. I've been doing this for a long time, and I love like learning new shit. It's crazy. Rockin' steady. 12. How adorable. Come to Montana. Dude, you don't know. Like, okay, everyone knows like the Western states or out West. And actually, I'll tell you a secret. You guys would get nuked first. Like because they think all our silos are there. Of course, they'd hit the cities. But 59th survivor of VHS, how are you tonight? But Anastasia and Rita, how are you? So anyway, but they would focus it all on there. I was watching some video infographics. Was it infographics? Yeah, infographics. You guys ever watch that channel? Randall Kennedy, thank you so much. California, how are you? Erica Terra, how are you tonight? So, anyway, infographics is a good channel. I like it. I don't watch other cryptid channels. I can't. I'm subscribed to like a few Dark Waters, Dogman, UK Man. But I just can't because the drama, and I don't want to listen to information that I've already talked about. And it's very seldom that I hear anything new on other channels unless it's made up. So I watch a lot of other like infographics. Sean Atwood, personal friend of mine, great guy, amazing researcher on things that just blow my mind. Lockdown 23 and 1. Fucking love that channel. What else do I watch? I don't know. I go to bed with Let's Read. Pops, thank you so much. Yeah, I'm sure he did, but I can't. I don't watch other channels. I'm like I like him. I guess I don't know him. What lurks beneath, but he's been doing it for a long time. He's not a researcher, he's a YouTuber in my eyes. But he has a lot of good interviews and stuff like that. It's crazy. You don't even ask people to subscribe. I just do it in the middle of the intro, Stacy. Yeah, Charlie and I don't know. I stay right away from that stuff. Dude from Texas is in the house with us. Haha, dude from Texas. Gravity fucking cheeseburger, just because. Let's Read is, I love Let's Read. Really nice guy, actually. He's really a really cool guy. Really smart. Really friggin' smart. Erica, that was up in Brant Lake where Tom Mezek disappeared. Thanks, Gravity. Rafe, how are you? Nez Lover, thank you for pointing out Rafe is in the house with us. Okay, so I wanted to share this with you guys because we talked about it like 3 weeks ago. And yes, Janie, I'm going back up there. And yes, dude, I am going to share encounters. But this isn't your first time being here. This isn't your first rodeo, dude, from Texas. You've been here before. You know how we do it. So this is the information that I found. Oh, and remember when we were talking about the octopus, and I was like, hey, there's this weird octopus or jellyfish that kind of cones, and it has a luminescence. It's called the comb jellyfish. So what's going on, Quinn? How are you? Monty's in the house with us. So check this out. Admit it. If you've read this far, you are intrigued, aren't you? But wait, it gets better from here. How about frozen octopus eggs riding a meteor to Earth 540 million years ago? A paper published in the Journal of Progress in Biophysics and Molecular Biology looked into the origins of life here on our planet. A team of no less than 33 researchers explored several theories. The one that catches the eye is the squid octopus cuttlefish may have originated from somewhere other than Earth. Octopus in their alien DNA. Evidence of the role of extraterrestrial viruses in affecting terrestrial evolution has recently been plausibly implied in the gene in Scoff. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. In the genome of the octopus shows staggering level of complexity of 33,000 protein-coded genes, more than is present in Homo sapiens. Homo sapiens have like 10,000. An octopus has 33,000 genes. And here, the piece de resistance, the transformative genes leading to the consensus, to the common cuttlefish, squid, and common octopus are not easily to be found in any pre-existing life form. It is plausible then to suggest they seem to be borrowed from a far distant future in terms of terrestrial evolution, or more realistically, from the cosmos at large. They offer the possibility that today's octopus are the descendants of creatures that arrived on Earth frozen in an icy comet. Why the octopus in particular? Its large brain and sophisticated nervous system, camera-like eyes, flexible body, instantaneous camouflage via the ability to switch color, shape, are just a few of the striking features that appear suddenly on the evolutionary scene. This terrestrial evolution occurred thanks to cryopreserved squid and or octopus eggs. Skip ads. Bam. Crashing into the ocean on comets several 100 million years ago. The researchers also gave another explanation. An extraterrestrial virus infected a population of early squid, causing them to evolve rapidly into the octopus we know today. Octopus from space. Unsurprisingly, scientists have been quick to refute that claim. There is no question early biology is fascinating, but I think this, if anything, is counterproductive. Ken Steadman, an American virologist and professor of biology at Portland State University, told the news website Live Science, many of the claims in this paper are beyond speculative, and not even really looking at the literature. Yet others weren't so tactful when describing the study. In her commentary published in the same journal, Karen Malig, a virologist at Max Planck Institute of Molecular Genetics in Germany, concluded the findings cannot be taken serious, hence her name being Karen. It's safe to say this won't be the last time the scientific community resurrects the theory that life arrived from faraway worlds, giving birth to some of the earliest life form. Anyway, Lynn, prayers. I hope your wrists feel better. Guys, thank you for blessing me. You guys are amazing. Tommy, it could be, but their genetics are so off the charts that it doesn't, you know. I mean, I believe in God, but what was it? 70 years ago, the church and all of its faithful followers denounced dinosaurs existing. So that's kind of hard, you know. I'm very good, Jane. My dad's surgery is on the 20th of November. Octopus are very good eating, and I will agree with you, Dale. I agree. Has anyone bagged the Dogman rug yet? Captain Ron 7, I don't know, but you know what? No Cat Bussin', how are you? If they do, it would be pretty badass if they brought Burt Reynolds back to life and he did another Playgirl centerfold on a Dogman rug. Dogman, you came in. I was just talking about you. How are you? No kidding, Quinn. I hope you picked one up. I can't get anything like that in upstate New York, brother. Tyler got that one. Burt Reynolds' chest was a rug. Actually, we were just talking about me and my dad. We were talking about my comic book collection, and I'm a major comic book dork. And we were talking about Ice Cream Man, this Image comic book, and I'm friends with both the penciler and the creator of it. And then we were talking about this comic called Shirtless Bear Fighter and how they did a variant cover with Burt Reynolds. But not Burt Reynolds, but the character from the comic. My dad's like, Burt Reynolds' chest was hairy, but he was completely bald on top. I'm like, how the fuck do you know, old man? I think I did this. Yeah, I did this last week. Okay. We'll catch these back. Here we go. All right. I've got a Burt Reynolds. All right, here we go. This happened almost 9 years ago, but out of all of my paranormal experiences, it's still one of the most vivid in my memory. My partner had left for military training, and I was staying with a family friend in their spare bedroom for a few months until I was able to move and join back up with my partner. It was a weird little blip where I had to be where I was for a while longer. But because I knew I'd be leaving, I could kind of just do whatever I felt like as long as I made enough money to keep the bills paid. So, when the job that I had initially loved turned into a bit of a nightmare, I quit. And I followed my now best friend, who got an industrial type sewing gig. It was fun, and we could come and go as we pleased for the most part. So you never knew who you were going to see on the other machines when you got there. Well, this is where the experience starts. My friend and I were standing at this large cutting table in the center of the room, prepping our pieces of canvas for the day's sewing, and the topic of our conversation ended up being about things that really scare us. Not the big obvious things like being buried alive or having sleep paralysis demon crawl on top of you, because who wouldn't be, right? But the smaller things that can just immediately get under your skin and make you go, screw this, I'm out. I eventually bring up how one of the creepiest things to me is the sound of slow scratching, not the sound of someone or something trying to get into wherever you are, but the sound of someone or something purposely dragging their nails or claws just to let you know that they are there and that they have time to wait for you to come out. I even added my own sound effects by slowly dragging my fingernails down a rough surface of the cutting table, and instead of letting the sound just fall off when I reached the edge, it ended it with a bit of flourish, but quickly curling my fingers so it sounded a bit like a swipe. He made a face that said I was not alone in thinking that it would be endlessly creepy, and we went about the rest of our day. Later that night, I was lying on my bed in the spare room, reading a book with my dog Bane sleeping next to me. Bane was a big guy, and he was an absolute baby. He didn't look it, though, half lab, half English bulldog, pitch black fur, and a face that made him look like he was fit to guard hell. But Bane never barked, so he was not much of a guard dog, which was fine. His job was to be a giant cuddle buddy, and that ding-dong did it well. And when I say never barked, I don't mean he only barked on a rare occasion. I mean the only sounds I had heard from this dog were high-pitched begging whimpers for treats and an overdramatic huff when he wanted attention. This is important to know so that you understand just how unsettling it was for me when I not only heard my dog begin to growl, but I feel a rumble of it through the bed as he wells up this insanely threatening sound in his chest. I go to put my hand on his back and I see his hackles are up, but I'm confused because the only thing I can see that he could possibly be looking at is my bedroom door. And that's when it started. A slow, intentional scratching that started from the very top of the door and continued for what seemed like an eternity until it finally stopped with a quick swipe down the very bottom. I sat frozen on my bed for I don't know how long, my hand still barely touching the raised ends of Bane's hackled fur, until he eventually stood up on the bed. I've seen and heard and felt a lot of weird things in my life, but this was by far the most pointed and too much of a coincidence. I immediately tried to think of a rational explanation for what just had happened, but even the most far-reaching thoughts couldn't explain why I had heard the same exact thing that I had just talked about earlier that day. This was a while ago, but my friend and I were still grown-ass, tired adults who wouldn't be pulling pranks, and on top of that, nobody who worked there, including my friend, even knew where I lived. The couple I lived with were even less likely to pull something like that. And there's no way either of them could have known about a random ass conversation I had while I was at work. Then there's Bane, who at that moment was a very big boy and very intent on being a very scary guard dog. This all would have been enough, I think, to solidify the story in my mind, but it doesn't end until the next day, about a half hour into work. Once again, my friend and I are standing at the cutting table, prepping our canvas pieces, when I say, dude, I have to tell you about something that happened last night. I start asking him if he remembered our conversation, but before I get the whole question out, I see his hand out of the corner of my eye moving toward the hood of my sweatshirt. This catches me off guard since we're both not touchy people at all. Like the amount of alcohol it took for us to give each other a hug the first time, a full year into being friends, was excessive. So I was surprised, not moving, and watching his face kind of scrunch up before he asks, "What are those from?" Not knowing what he's talking about, I pull my phone out of my pocket and switch on the forward-facing camera. I see there are 3 scratch marks, red, going down the whole side of my neck, ear to collarbone, too thin to have been from me scratching myself in the sleep, and too thin to be Bane's claws. So it could not have been him. I don't know what it was that had scratched me or the door that night, but whatever it was, apparently it had been around and it had been listening. Not cool. Not cool at all. I'm sure it did scare you, Joe. Holy shit. Yeah, he does need some holy water. IE Native, how are you? Definitely. It's definitely not very I don't know how I would handle that. I would much rather have what happened to me while I was up where Tom Mezek disappeared than something scratching at my door, knowing the people that I live with are not pranksters, having my dog kind of freak out. Nope, no thank you, no how. Larry Hart, how are you, my friend? Miss Firehorse, how are you? You know, how are you? You know, what a dipshit. Not you, Yono, me for saying Yono, you know what I mean. Most definitely an undead prankster, Tommy. Absolutely. Donna, I do not know. I have not heard anything from Victor. I was just thinking about him actually today. But Enki, that'd be funny, wouldn't it? He's hiding right now because it's raining. Hopefully he'll come in a little bit. Monty, you're going to email me? Who's Jerry? Jeff, what's your thoughts on the border agent and his cartel? So my thoughts on Jason, I'm writing his book, and I'm hoping by the beginning of next year I'll have it out. Audrey, I'm writing the book. I've made that statement about 1,000 times. Victor isn't writing the book. Those are old uploads that you guys are hearing from like 2 years ago when he's talking about the book. It got taken down in Amazon. He had a deal with Amazon. So if you type in Victor Johnson in the Amazon search bar, it literally says Victor Johnson, and then it gives you like a couple of like ideas for what is to type next. It'll say Dogman book, cryptid book. It's crazy. He has some issues with his kidneys. I believe he was poisoned, to be honest. It's pretty crazy. So anyway, what the fuck was I going to say? The cartel. I don't know. I think it makes sense because he's back in the States. He's living, and I don't know if he's back. I don't think he can go back to his old job. I'm not sure. I didn't ask him that, but he's fine in Texas right now. So for it to be our government, if it was, I don't think he'd be with us right now. Cowboy Five Rings, how are you? But the cartel, they have massive amounts of money. They have their own zoos. You know what I mean? So I don't know. It makes sense to me, to be quite frank with you guys. Hey, Eric Baker, how are you? Oh, I've got some Sirens too, but I've got some Blackeyed Kid ones. Why would a cartel? No one's Arabic. We're not talking about Victor on that one, brother. We're talking about the gentleman who worked for the Border Patrol, who is of Mexican descent. Thanks, Randall Kennedy. I could read a lot better, but I get like worked up when I'm reading. When I'm reading like a book at home, or I am in my home. When I'm reading a book, here, or when I'm reading like just here, RH, I haven't been up there to put it up yet, buddy. I know, where is Nino, that sexy MFer? He hasn't been here for a couple weeks. Or Libra either. I have a better, like, I don't know, state of mind when I'm reading at home or here by myself. Black-eyed kids. I hate it when women come at me like a dark horse. Rochelle, thank you for joining us tonight. I try to look and see where everyone is. Is Vang here? Nope, Cacklin's here. How are you, Cacklin? How are you? I didn't say hi to you yet. I got some black-eyed kids. In the present, I maybe would need to pray. Everybody needs to pray, I think. Well, I don't think, I know. No cap. What do you mean? What's the deal with him, with the area where he disappeared? I don't know what you mean. Ginger, how are you? Lily 175, how are you tonight? I got some good black-eyed encounters for you, Big John. Yeah, no Thunderbolt for a while either. No Thunderbolt. No Cat Bussin'. What do you mean by what's the deal with? Okay, I heard you say there was something up there that made you uneasy, but I was working, so I could. You got to watch that video again, brother. I have video of me walking, and you have to watch the video on your computer, or TV, because if you watch where the red box is, and I'm walking towards the area, it's so fast. It runs like it's there and then it's gone. You see it, bam. And then one day I was up there like a week later, birds are chirping. I'm walking up this wash and the birds are chirping until I get to this one location and I sit on a rock. And all of a sudden, there's no birds. I didn't notice it because I was going to record from there. And all of a sudden, I'm in the middle of recording an encounter, and this tree just blasts apart. I run down the Katie, thank you. Yes, it does hit. I run down the trail, and as I look over my shoulder, so I'm sitting on the rock like this. I got my camera set here. There's nothing but trees on both sides of me. And this tree just blasts apart. You can hear it. I caught it on audio. And I stand up and I start running down the trail like that. And I look over my shoulder and this thing's running that way. And I don't know what it was. I don't know if it was a Bigfoot. I don't know if it was a Dogman. I cannot tell you what smashed that tree. Part of me thinks it may have been, I come up with these crazy ideas and I'm like, what if it was a portal that opened up and just blew apart this tree and whatever came out of the portal ran? You know, I don't know what the hell it was. It was definitely bipedal. It was nuts. Yes, RH. It's 2 days ago. Savage Lunatic. I don't know. I share encounters with you guys for you guys to, okay, here's the deal. I will never say to somebody, I don't buy what they're saying on the channel. I'll never be like, I don't believe your story. What I do is if someone wants to share and I meet them and I talk to them, I give them an opportunity to share, and then it's your decision to see if you agree or not agree. Just like the video clips. Who am I to be saying anything? You know what I mean? So how did the tree blow up? I'm confused. I'm confused too, Stacy Brooks. I was sitting there and have no idea. I looked up and you can hear I don't know if you saw the video, Stacy, but you can hear the tree just blow apart. And I turn and look and I'm like, what the? And I just start running. Rockin', it's become an addiction, honestly. I think about it so much that I don't know what, like, and I don't want to bring anyone up there with me just in case. I put it out yesterday, if that helps, Stacy. I've become an addict. It's just, I hope that one day I can find this guy's hat. You know, like they searched 5 square miles, which is like 3,200 acres. And I just want to find his hat and call his family and be like, I have his hat here. I have his hat, you know, like, I don't know. But someone asked me what I was talking about really quick was someone asked me about John Phoenix and how I feel about what he said on those videos. And like I said, the only encounter that I know truly that happened was mine. You know, I know my encounter happened 100% because I was there. Thank you, Lori. Alan, how are you? But other than that, I don't know. Like here, let's say Truth Quest calls me up and says, Jeff, I have an encounter to share. Or Jane, you know, I love Jane. We all love Jane. But let's say Jane calls me up and she says, Jeff, I have an encounter to share with you. I'm going to talk to her and I'm going to be like, yeah, come on the show and share it with us. And I'm not there. I wasn't there. I can just take that person at their word. You know what I mean? Ads coming, skipped ads. And I leave it up to you guys, for you guys to feel how, you know, to feel the encounters out. Because other than that, you know, like it's more like the pieces of the puzzle. Take one if you like it. If you don't, put it in your bag for later. You know what I mean? Jeff, was it your channel that carried the encounter that the dude walked in on a Dogman? Doing the Ron Jeremy with his... Yes, that was me, bro. Where the guy, they were younger, not kids, but teenagers that caught 2 dogmen doing the Ron Jeremy, as Brett Alexander puts it. Asher, how are you? Yeah, that would be cool. That would be cool. Except I can't fly a drone worth shit, to be honest with you. Alan, I can move when I want to. I really can. You'd call me a help. I've become quite, like, I don't eat a lot, but I drink a ton of these, so I've got a little gut now. I got a Coke belly, not a beer belly. I'm going to share them here. Don't worry, Joe. Black-eyed kids, baby. Here we go. This incident took place about 13 years ago. I had just moved to a new city with my wife. We were small-town newlyweds from the Midwest. We moved cross-country to one of the biggest cities in the Southwest so I could attend graduate school. Being naive and new to city living, I habitually answered the door without a second thought. Never again after this. The first thing that should have tipped me off to the particularity of the situation was the fact that someone was knocking at 6 a.m. The second thing that should have dawned on me is this kid had to reach over a rather tall patio gate to unlatch and open it. The knock at the door was startling. My wife and I were getting ready for work, a pretty normal routine. The moment I opened the door, I was overtaken with this inexplicable sense of fear. To this day, I can picture him. Teenager, average height, average build, knee-length black leather coat, short black hair, and sunglasses. Sunglasses at 6 a.m. struck me as odd. Even more odd was he was eating an apple. He was very polite and asked if he could come in and warm up. I said no and closed the door and slid the security chain into place. A moment later, another knock. I opened the now chained door, and before I could speak, he asked again if he could come in and warm up. No, I replied, and attempted to close the door. Before the door could shut, he put his hand out, stopping the door on its hinges. He looked directly in my eyes, still wearing sunglasses, and said, "Can I at least get some ketchup for my apple?" "F that," I replied, albeit a little confused. "Get the hell out of here. My wife is calling the police." He takes a moment to let this information sink in, lowers his sunglasses, revealing his eyes black as obsidian, and says, "No, you won't be calling anybody." At that moment, I force the door closed, lock it, and call out to my wife. She's scared shitless, hiding in the bedroom. All jacked up on adrenaline, I rip the curtains back to look out the window. Next to the door, he's gone. Absolutely no trace of him. I go out onto the patio and check the gate. It's still latched from the inside. That was messed up, I think to myself, and as I turn to enter the house, I notice a half-eaten apple lying on the ground. I don't like black-eyed kids. They scare me. Exactly. Who puts ketchup on their apple? My mom used to put salt on her apple. She'd like cut slices of apple up and then sprinkle salt on them. Devil kids, exactly. Yes, they are. Dolls scare me too. Joe Michaela has a freaky doll picture. I got to put it again on the channel. I can't find it on the community post. I posted it. They could be alien hybrid. They could be. Salt on the watermelon. I've heard of that. Normal kids are creepy too. Exactly. I fucking hate kids. Ketchup on ice cream. Oh, God. That's filthy. Salt on apples and watermelons. Chocolate chip muffin to munch. You know what's really good is, and people think I'm weird, or people used to think I'm weird, but my buddy Belle, my little baby girl, she, if I peel a potato, right, it's got to be fresh, and like soak it in cold water and then slice it and sprinkle salt on it. She eats that shit up like nobody's business. Salt brings a flavor to anything. Salt is great. I love salt. What's up, Derek? How are you? Omelet with ketchup. Belly eats her eggs with ketchup too. But potato slices with salt, and they've got to be, fresh. They can't be cooked or anything. Josh, don't try it don't knock it until you try it. I'm dead serious. It's fucking good. It really is good. Put mustard on meat. Your burger. Yeah, my dad does that with his loaf of meat. No, he puts like his mustard on meatloaf and shit. I hate meatloaf. Meatloaf is yucky. Salmon sandwich with almond tea. Yeah. No, thank you, Dale. I can't eat salmon. Salmon's yucky to me. Uncooked taters, California. Try it. Just slice it up thin and sprinkle salt on it, and it's good. It's good. Dark City is an awesome flick. I'll have to check that out, Sam Hoff. My daughter will eat raw potatoes. My sister too. I don't know. It's something. They taste good. Yeah, dude from Texas is with me. Meatloaf is filthy. The loaf of meat is just filthy. RH, meatloaf is this. Okay, so you know how you have those bread loaves? You take a big slop of ground beef, you put it in a bowl, You put ketchup, Worcestershire sauce, and an egg and breadcrumbs and a little bit of piss water, and you mix it up and you put it in that thing and you throw it in the oven and you cook it, and it comes out tasting like absolute dog ass. Ha ha! Salmon cakes. Salmon's yucky. Yucky. I would drink almond tea. I think I have like an almond flavored tea. I love fucking tea. I'm a tea addict. Simone, my mom can't cook. My mom cannot cook, and I'm not being mean. Big Gene cannot cook worth shit. One night she made this Christmas dinner. Ham. How the fuck do you ruin ham? We cut into it and it was like eating a piece of plywood. I was like, what the fuck is this, Mom? Chicory. Chicory is filthy too. I just got this new tea, Anastasia. It's from Harry's or Henry's or whatever it is. It's cranberry, fall, autumn, whatever, cranberry black tea. It's good. Rafe, I agree. Tea and jelly beans. I love tea and I love jelly beans. Gigi, I'll have some of your meatloaf. If you promise that it's not like filthy tasting, I will try some. Stacy Brooks, jelly beans are trash. Shame on you. Jelly Belly jelly beans, red apple jelly beans are the best fucking candy in the world. It has to be Jelly Belly. It can't be like store-bought in, black licorice tasting, dick cheese. It's got to be Jelly Belly. And I'm spitting on myself. I got lime Jelly Bellies in there too. Yes, ma'am. Andy Davis, you're not trash. I'm a little bit of white trash and all. San Hoff, shame on you. You've got to try Jelly Bellies. Starbursts are good. This week, Alan Howell. This week, my friend. I have tried Starburst jelly beans. Nerds are good. I like Nerds quite a bit. Oh my God. We have this candy store up here, and they have these freeze-dried Skittles. Freeze-dried Skittles are the most amazing fucking candies. Holy moly. Red Cardinal, the Dirty Dogman fam, is doing good. Miss Firehorse, your cat passed away? Oh my God, I'm so sorry for you. Jeez, crow. I would be completely broken if my cat passed away. I'm so sorry for your loss, Miss Firehorse. Wow. Rafe, they are good. They are very good. All right. I'm going to share with you guys. You know who's not here too is Brown Snake. Brown Snake isn't here. It is what it is. That sounds like a plan. I will send you all the sour Skittles so you can freeze dry those fuckers up for me. Oh man, Miss Firehorse, 13 years? Jeez, I'm crow. My big boy's 8. Not many names left. Don't rush me, please. I know, where is Thunderbolt, Blake? All right. This next encounter that we are going to share here is none other than Joe Michaela's experience. So we're going to do Joe. That didn't come out right. We are going to do Joe Michaela's encounter. Okay, here we go. I need to speak to my sister Bess. She is the hero of this encounter. Bess has saved me many, many, many times. I will warn you that CA and neglect are mentioned. I'm sorry if that upsets anyone. My childhood, through legal age, was riddled with abuse. This encounter is real. I have not fabricated or exaggerated this. This encounter happened the summer of '77. I was 6. My brothers, sisters, and I were forced outside all day in the heat without food and water. Someone took pity on us and installed a garden hose so we could get some water. Before the hose, we would head over to the mill. They had a car wash with constant running water. We would go to it and put play pails in the waterfall to fill up buckets so we could drink. Other times we would walk through and cool off. No one batted an eye over 4 naked kids walking under a cold car wash or rinse. On the day of the encounter, I headed up the street to the back door of the corner store. The owner would put a basket together of bread, peanut butter, crackers, apples, raisins, sometimes juices. I truly feel that he knew what was going on and tried to help us. After bringing the basket back, Bess and I were setting up the picnic area out back. Way out back, there were wild raspberries, blueberries, and strawberries. Bess and I were picking raspberries to have with lunch. We found ourselves in a small clearing. We could see the edge of a small bog. There were only a few feet between the edge and us. Nothing at first seemed strange. We turned our backs to pick the berries. Bess turned and grabbed the basket. Within that moment, something wet grabbed my ankles. I can remember being in shock. I couldn't scream or move. It tried to pull me down. I landed on my stomach. It felt like the air was knocked out of me. I was being dragged backwards. It felt like time had stopped. Bess screamed at it, and it brought me back. I was trying to kick. I couldn't. It was too strong. Bess grabbed my hands. I could feel her trying to pull me out. This thing felt like leather. It was stabbing fangs into my upper back. It was trying to wrap its wings around me. I could feel bony-like fingers with sharp claws. It had me by my waist. This thing was huge. I'm guessing 6.5 to 7 feet, built like a football player, in width with elongated muscles. I can remember Bess letting go of one of my hands. Bess filled in this part. She said she was swearing at it. She kept demanding to let me go. Bess said she grabbed a rock with a pointed edge and started hitting it in the head. I did not realize that this thing had covered me all the way up to my elbow. Bess said she kept hitting it over and over until it finally loosened its grip. Bess said she slammed the rock on its head, then dropped it so she could pull me out. She said that she dragged me to the side of the house where the garden hose was. I came around when Bess hit me in the face with cold water. I had a slime-like film covering most of my body. Bess hosed me off. I heard her cry. Bess pointed down. My blood was forming rivers in the dirt. Bess took the hose to a dirt pile that was next to the steps on the second entrance of the house. We made thick mud. Grammy Margaret taught us how to use mud to stop bleeding. This felt like hours, but was probably 5 or 10 minutes. I sat on the second entrance steps while Bess got the basket and then our brothers. We ate in silence. I believe Bess told my dad about the bog. I would guess a few days to a week later, I remember seeing some mill workers filling it in from Bess's window. I do remember seeing a big sink in. It took the mill a while to finally get it totally filled in. This has haunted me and took me a while to fully process. I really wish I was making this up. This encounter really traumatized me. I still feel very scared of small bodies of water. Thank you for allowing me to share. Wow, Joe. Thank you for sharing this one with us. This is friggin' horrendous. I could not imagine that happening to me. Very, very much like Jeepers Creepers, Asher. That's what I was thinking. Or Bat Squatch. Yeah. Not anything that I would want to encounter. Wow. Is your sister still vividly remember this, Joe? Obviously, if she filled in the blanks. Why does it look like it's so dark right here? What the hell's going on? That's better. Yeah, Andy Davis, I agree with you. No, this wasn't in England. What state was this? Was this in Maine, Joe? Wow. Bess is the hero of that story. She's absolutely right. Thanks, Dogman. You came in. Okay, so it was in Maine, guys. Wow. $10, $21. Smelly Gaster. You know, the only minus the Mothman, the Jersey Devil, the Snellygaster, and Thunderbird. I don't know too many other kind of winged cryptids, but that is really Lincoln, Maine. Thanks. It is what it is. I appreciate that. Send me an email and I'll give you my address. I really do appreciate that. Maine is absolutely beautiful, no cap bussin'. Maine is truly a place of like, I don't know. I can't explain it. It's so beautiful. Truth Quest, that sounds like a plan. Krista Allen, where in New York? What do you mean, where I live? Or where Tom Mezek disappeared? I live in Glens Falls, New York, and Tom Mezek disappeared in Horicon. Nicola, my family has property. My aunt and my dad both have houses in on the backside of Bar Harbor, which is on Mount Desert Island. That's some beautiful property out there. But then you go north, like up to like Lubec, Maine. Lubec, Maine is just beautiful. I've never heard Corey Taylor's Owlman encounter. I'll have to check that out, dude from Texas. It's one of those beautiful spots in the U.S. Sandhoff, you own property where in Maine? Yeah, Bahaba. There is a $20 bill stick. I've definitely heard of the Pope Lick. 100%. Adam Hernandez, you're never late. You're always here with us. I just got to get to America. America is beautiful. Not so much the government, but, you know, Dana, how are you? Mom did do the best on the ham. She tried. She put the old clover, or what is it? Clove little niblets in there, and put some Sandhoff. My family lives in Bernard. My great grandfather was a bootlegger, and Bernard, Maine is on the backside of the island of Mount Desert Island. You got Northeast Harbor, Southwest Harbor, Bar Harbor, and Bernard, and in Tremont. If it's on the island and it's a farm, I'm guessing it's Tremont. Yeah, you guys got hit by a flood. That's right. Truth, not to grab me from behind. That's scary, Joe. I cannot believe. Ugh, that is absolutely terrifying. Well, Rafe, it's an island, which it's technically an island, but like when high tide is up, it's an island. When low tide is in, it's not an island because you can walk across the sandbar. What can we do for our country? Yes, man. Yeah. These stories and news you've heard of jet black fur, red eye, pointed ear, big looking cat thing. Southern Arizona. I have Ethan. I have plenty of experiences from Southern Arizona. I've got a couple of Dogman experiences in the Finger Lake area. Yep. Well, where is it, Sandhoff? Tell me. I don't think it was a Thunderbird. It definitely doesn't seem like a Thunderbird. To me, it sounds like, it's grabbing her. I always picture, someone said Jeepers Creepers, but, I think like Jeepers Creepers, they make these movies and these creatures, there's like stories prior to these movies existing. So, Stacy, send that to me. Tommy, how are you? Thank you for joining us. I'm glad you're here with us tonight. Joe's had some crazy encounters. I've got a couple of more that I'm going to share. Exactly, Aramic. I'm trying to think. My sister had nightmares about the bog. I'm wondering if it was slimy because, like the bog had like algae and shit. You know what I mean? It just. RH, I'll tell you in a few minutes. I'll tell you what your homework assignment movie will be. Harpy. Harpy, yeah. Wow. That's a name I haven't heard of in a long time. But like she said it was slimy. And you know how like if you get into stagnant water, it's fucking gross. Jeff, you did a story on Dogman in Bitter, Texas. Really, Brandy? That's crazy. All right. Here's the movie for the week. The movie for the week is going to be VHS 85. VHS 85. What's going on, Jimmy Fields? It has been a long time. T-Wave 50, how are you? Alan Howell, thank you so much. All right, so I got two more of Joe's. I got all right, here we go. This one is a aquatic. This was around a year ago, back in July. I was on a trip in Goa, in India, with some friends, and we were in this rented yacht in the Arabian Sea, Indian Ocean for the night. A lot of us were drunk as hell, except for me. I stayed away from the bottles that day because I bet with a friend, he bet me around $20 that I couldn't go 2 vacation days without drinking. Earlier on in the night, some of my more intoxicated friends decided to look out at the vast sea and yelled excitedly that they had seen a mermaid around us, which turned out to be dugongs, marine mammals commonly mistaken for mermaids. This was at around 11:30, 12 o'clock at night, and I helped them back inside with the others. The party had died down around 2 or 3, and I decided to enjoy the view of the sea with some good old late night snacks, a pack of barbecued Lay's chips. I was about halfway through the pack when I noticed these strange human-like fingers coming out of the water, and I assumed they were actually mermaids seen by my drunk friends. Decided to get a closer look. They formed what I think was a circle around the boat and drew closer. Now, I could tell you that they had long dark hair, it was moonlight night, and they had grayish white faces. They did not rise very far out of the water. I could only see their shoulders at most. I was still assuming they were somewhat ugly mermaids in poor lighting and tried waving to them, at which they all stared in my direction. They began to emit what I now feel was the most ghastly wailing I had ever heard. I was oddly mesmerized, and as I inched closer to the rail, I felt this strong urge to jump into the water and join them. But I started to back away when I saw their eyes. They had no irises or any white. They were just plain black. Their mouths seemed to grow in size, and that was when my eyes convinced my ears not to give in. I dropped my chips and pulled away from the railing and fought my urges to jump in. I ran inside, shutting the door behind me and falling to the ground. Everyone else was asleep, and the wailing just stopped abruptly. I was far too afraid to go outside at that point, so I decided to lose the bet and have a fairly good amount of Henny and rum, plus half a blunt that my friends had left out. I passed out, and the next morning no one was missing, so that was good. No one believed me, though, and we had to head back to the hotel in the afternoon. Edit. There was light from the yacht as well. It wasn't pitch black out, which I forgot to mention. So yes, I am sure I got a fairly good look at their faces. And even if they were right, I was not hallucinating their appearances. Plus, the wailing was real. Sirens. Yes, that's what they called. He said my encounter with sirens. But his friends kept saying werewolf. His friends kept saying mermaid. LG Gates, how are you? Robbie Salazar, what's going on, brother? Ninjin, yeah. Damn it, Jeff. Do you have Shudder? I can't find. Yes, Charlie Knight, I have Shudder. Brown Snake is in the house with us? Where's the old gold dick? Adam, how are you doing? Merwolves. Haha, merwolves. That's funny. Patriotic Yank, how are you? $20 is $20, brother. I'm not doing bad, Patriotic. Not bad. Brenda, how are you doing? The old freaking golden member is in the house. The old bronze snake. Exactly, Alan Howell. That's one thing. How do people deny the existence of these creatures when, people have talked about dogmen, people have talked about mermaids, minotaur, thunderbird for thousands and thousands of years. So it just Randall Kennedy, thank you for becoming a member of the channel. Did you just send me the email? Yeah, so anyway, I'm pretty excited about getting up north and checking out these missile silos. And I'm bringing you guys with me. I'm definitely bringing y'all with me to go up there. Philo, how are you? I didn't see you. Stephen Knight's in the house. Didn't see you. Sorry about that. Where's that? So right here, I don't know, this body of water right here is Lake Champlain. If the map continued down here, I'd be like right. I would be like right about here, where Tom Mezek disappeared is like over in here somewhere. But to have 12 missile silos in upstate New York just freaks me out. Like, yes, I know Montana, but upstate New York is just, you don't hear about that crap. You know what I mean? We are doing well, Joy. We are doing better now that you're here with us. Johnny the Wad, how are you? Pups, you're going to bed? Colin, can you please make an upload a confirmation of all of the videos that should be watched on the computer? Yes, I will. The one that I put up the other day should be watched on the computer, though. Asher, I've never heard of Hook Island. Maybe. We have a lot of islands up north, like on the St. Lawrence Seaway and shit like that. Johnny Wad, have a good night, brother. I love that name. You ever receive that pic? Yes, I did. Philo, was that you? Hey, buddy, how are you? Good night, Pops. Have a good night. Craig, Steven, thank you very much. I appreciate that. I said hi, Belly. How are you, buddy? I'd love to see them, Philo. I'd love to see them. Yeah, the werewolf cat is really weird. Penobscot. I'd like to have a couple of pug wedgie experiences. Black-eyed kid story, guys. Black-eyed kids. Actually, ooh, here we go. Actually, we'll do a Dogman encounter really quick. Goodbye, buddy. I love you. Hang on a second, guys. Hang on a second. Sorry, guys. Sorry. I'll explain. My daughter is having a hard night, and I wanted to go check on her. So, all right. So what we'll do, Dogman encounter or black-eyed kid encounter first. You pick, okay? Thank you, Sonia. Dogman. Thanks, Dogman, UK man. She's 15, so she's going through, things. All right, we'll hit the Dogman. Ooh, black-eyed Dogman encounter. Ooh, golden member. That would be terrifying. Thank you, Tyler. Here we go. This encounter took place in a small town of West Serbia. I asked my friends Marco and Nadad to sleep over at my house. It was 2200 hours. We turned on the DVD and started watching the movie called Dog Soldiers. I'm not a fan of horror movies, but I decided to watch it just for fun. When the movie finished, we were so terrified we didn't turn off the lights in the house. Marco and Nadad fell asleep, but I couldn't sleep. So I went to the kitchen to grab some juice. It was roughly 3 a.m. I was drinking the juice and suddenly I heard a loud howl. That was not an ordinary dog howl. No, it was different. I rushed up the stairs and woke up Marco and Nadad. At that same moment, another howl. We went to the porch with a battery lamp, and we opened our eyes widely to see what it was. I forgot to mention that behind my house is a wooded area. Not big, but not too small, and behind the area is a river. So we were watching that wooded area for 5 minutes and we didn't see anything. As we turned to go into my house, we heard running, like 10 dogs running at the same time. And then we saw it, a creature about 3 feet tall with long fur and arms and legs running across the wooded area. It stopped and then stood on its hind legs, and now it was 6 feet tall, howled, and then disappeared into the darkness. We wanted to run in the house, but we couldn't move. Suddenly, we cut loose, ran up the stairs like the devil himself was chasing us. We did not sleep that night. We never saw it again. From that day on, I slept with the lights on. I decided to share this experience because I know that thousands of people have seen the same thing I have, a dog man. Hey, Patty, how are you? Black-eyed peas. They are terrifying. Black-eyed peas. Remember when that chick from Black-eyed Peas pissed her pants on stage? Oh, bam. So my daughter, Abigail, she was she was at her friend's house. Her friend is house sitting, and it's in this town called Gansford, New York. Gansford is roughly the same, like, so where that little girl disappeared and where I had or got kidnapped and where I had my encounter. Um, to the left is Gansford. It's all farmland and woods. So Abby is at her friend's house, and they have like a horse, uh, a place where you can store your horses. I don't know what it's called, and a kennel, whatever. So anyway, they're inside, and they have to go outside to smoke their magic weed shit. And so they're smoking. And Abby's boyfriend goes, he makes this noise. Boarding. Thank you, Joy. Boarding. And so he makes this like whistle noise, right? So it's Abby, her boyfriend, the girl that is at the house, and another guy. So there's four of them. They all hear this whistle. No, not. I wasn't thinking a stable or a stall. I was thinking like the boarding when you board a horse. So all of a sudden they hear this whistle back, right? So they go inside the house, and Abby's freaked out because she had her own Dogman encounter. So Abby's like, I want to leave. I don't want to stay here tonight. And they get into the car and they start driving out. And he whistles again. And all of a sudden, it whistles back once more. And yeah, it was fucking crazy. She came home shaking. Robert Sharp, have a good night. That's what I said, dude. That's what I said. I said, baby girl. I said, you know that you're not supposed to whistle in the woods at night. And she's like, I know, Daddy. I know. It wasn't me. And I looked at Ian and I was like, Ian, what the hell? And he's like, Dis, how are you? I did see you, but I didn't say hi to Dis Heifer. How are you tonight? I apologize for not saying hi to you before now. DH, how are you? Not good at all. You're absolutely right. Mr. Rollins, you're here with us. You're not late. You're here with us. You just shouldn't go in the woods at night anyway, you know? Did you guys ever see the video? Thank you, Robert. I appreciate that. Did you guys ever see the video where I went to Tom Mezek disappeared at night? That was fun. Shelly, it was crazy. Or Shell, it was crazy because they smoke weed all the time. That's what they do, and they don't get freaked out very easy, especially Abigail. Abigail doesn't get freaked out at all. And when that happened, she was like, "We need to go." Absolutely, absolutely patriotic. Absolutely. A bit, Aramic, a bit. They are a bit. They could be part of the new Dazed and Confused movie if they ever did. Updo the email. I did get it. I'll share it in the community post thing after I look at it, Philo. Rochelle, Rochelle asked, Jeff, I have an important question. What's the best type of firearm suggested for safety and protection I could tell my mom about? A pistol, obviously. I like 9mm, but the ammunition that I like is TUI, which is Tumble Upon Impact by Fort Scott Munitions. A 10mm would be a good pistol. It depends on what fits her hand. And to be honest, a 9 with Fort Scott Munitions Tumble Upon Impact would be, honestly, I trust it. Patriotic Yank, absolutely. I have family that lives on the reservation up north, and I totally agree. Alan Howell, yeah, Alabama. I got the Alabama experience to share with you guys this week. 5.7 is a good round. Dude from Texas, that's a good round for you, but not somebody's mom, my brother. It depends on how big she is. Tumble Upon Impact, Fort Scott Tumble Upon Impact rounds, the TUI is okay. They've shot a black bear with one round, and it killed the bear one round. They've shot a wild boar with one round, and it killed it. And they did a mag dump on 2A body armor with a pistol, and it penetrated it. So it depends on like the size of your mom's hand, whatever she's comfortable with, and what does she need it for. Patty, I'd love to hear your experience if you want to email it to me. 5.7's a great little round. Yeah, it's a fun round. But I'd have to I would stake my life on Tumble Upon Impact by Fort Scott Munitions. That's just me. Monty, yes, I do. I already said I do, brother. You called me Jerry at first, though. DH, you probably should never whistle in the dark. Yeah, Rochelle, I would just go 9mm. 9mm. Have her invest in Fort Scott Munitions. It's a little pricey, but if you're going to shoot a trespasser or anybody, pop them off. It'll do it. Absolutely, Patty. I just said that for you. Yep. Brandy, you just ordered some TUIs. They're freaking awesome. They're awesome. Once again, Miss Firehorse, I really feel horrible for you for losing your best friend. I cannot believe that, and I'm so sorry for you. I'm giving you a hug right now. And that wasn't being like an asshole. That was just me being like a loving hug. Nick Hendricks, how are you? Horndy does make some good rounds. Me and my daughter, we want to come to America. Truth Quest, I'll adopt you. 380 it fits, Joe Baker, absolutely. Here's something. A lot of people, and I know like a lot of people will agree with this and some people won't. Come on, Jeff, you read these fast? What do you mean, Brenda? I don't understand what you're saying. You read these fast. So anyway, My grandfather told me something once. He said, because he bought an Abersa Thunder, and this guy said, "Why are you buying a Bersa Thunder?" And my grandfather, like when we left the gun store, goes, "That guy was an asshole." And I'm like, "Yeah, kind of." And he goes, "I'll tell you why I'm buying a Bersa Thunder." He goes, "Because it feels good in my hand." He goes, "I could buy any gun I want." He goes, I got enough money to where I could buy anything I fucking want. But it feels good in my hand. All the comments. I try to read them. I don't want to have moderators because moderators ruin things, I think. Black-eyed kids encounter? Here we go, baby. Killdozer! Hell yeah, dude from Texas. Hell yeah. That was a badass movie. Rafe, perfect. I say it all the time. Shot placement is... Braden, how are you from Alaska? 700 Nitro Express. Jesus Christ. I'm doing well, Celise. Thank you for asking. Here we go, kids. I believe I encountered the black-eyed children over a decade ago in rural Appalachia. This always low-key disturbed me. Keeping in touch to this day, we've never brought it up again. We were at a local state park sort of place between 9 p.m. and 1 a.m. I remember we were parked alongside the woods and some picnic tables. It was pretty desolate. We were technically trespassing, 17-year-old female, 17-year-old male at the time. And what we were doing there, you can leave to your own imagination. As our curfews were approaching and we were finishing up our time together, we experienced a very ominous feeling. He was in the driver's seat preparing to start the car and pull off. The car didn't start. We sort of laughed, as, you know, typical horror movie thing. Suddenly, to the right, passenger side, where I was sitting, we see faint lights coming out of the woods. The ominous feeling intensified. Emerging from the woods, there were 4 to 5 children younger than us, appearing 7 to 11. I'm not going to claim that they had black eyes. It was dark, and I don't remember, as I was pretty shook. I didn't read about black-eyed children lore or the phenomenon until years later, which described everything else that we experienced. All I can say is they were not normal. They didn't belong. The cabins at the park were not occupied. They weren't even getting rented out. It was autumn/winter. We were miles from the park's hotel. There were no adults. They were absolutely out of place. What were the lights? ? I don't know. But the closest thing I can compare them to were glow sticks, as if they had opened a package of those novelty glow sticks that include bracelets, necklaces, and wands. But it wasn't like they were having fun or goofing off. They just stopped and stood there and stared at us. He tried asking what they were doing here, if they were lost, where are your parents, to no response. The oldest looking male child, a bit heavy set with a gray hoodie, approached the vehicle, just in the front where the passenger headlight corner would be. My friend started really freaking out at that moment and locked the doors and said, "Hell no, we gotta go." Eventually, the car did start. The children did not move, and the kid stays put in front of the car. My friend eventually yells to the kid, "I'm gonna run you over." The boy slowly backs away, raising his arm, and points at us as we are leaving. I did not look back. Quinn, very good. Very good, my friend. Anyway, what I was going to say is black-eyed kids, in the majority of the experiences, it all seems like they're wearing hoodies. Dude in Texas said it right at the same time. I like to watch. Anyway, think about it. I believe the first black-eyed kid encounter was from England. And that man explains those kids with hoodies on. And it's fucking nuts. Philo, I definitely will. I definitely will. It's crazy because first black-eyed kid encounter. Black-eyed kid history. No, I was wrong. While tabloid coverage of these creatures has claimed that tales of the black-eyed children have existed since the 80s, most sources indicate the legend originated in 96 postings written by a Texas reporter, Brian Bethel, encountering 2 children in Abilene wearing hoodies. But for some reason, I really think that England just pops out to me. I don't know. Old time clothing. Dale's wearing a hoodie right now. Dale's either wearing a hoodie or a cock ring with butt beads. Yeah, definitely do not invite the little bastards in your house. Abilene, Texas, they say. But you know where I'm thinking the England one is I think the first video. Nick, no worries, brother. Thank you for showing up with us. Where if you say yes, okay, so there was a guy, and this is where I'm thinking England. The guy in England did say yes, and there's like a video camera footage supposedly of him opening the door, the kids going in, and the kid or the guy being dead the next morning, I believe. Cock ring with spikes for slippery conditions. Jesus Christ. If you bring hot dogs and feed them the whole package, they will be friendly. Oh, Braden. Braden says if you give them hot dogs, they'll love you for life. You definitely can't let them in. You just kick them right in the fucking nutsack if they have one. And if it's a girl one, punch her in the throat. She likes it. And that's not saying hit women. I'm saying black-eyed kid children women you can hit. It's okay to hit a black-eyed children. Donkey punch. Yes, donkey punch. And you can actually, black-eyed children truly enjoy when you throw boiling hot dog water on their faces. They love that. They do. And they say, thank you, Jeff. Can we have more, please? I've heard that in Texas. Yeah. Dude from Texas. In DDT, you got to RKO those little bastards. You just got to pull the fucking RKO out on them. And then give them the double Steve Austin bird. I've heard that, dude from Texas. I've heard that some, like, there's like some in Texas. I don't remember where I heard it. But like kids will like push you off the railroad tracks to get you like supposedly the kids died on the tracks. That's what I mean. That's just something that I heard. What's up, Quinn? I did read that you got TUI for your 40. Hit him with the X Pack. How do I Quinn, I don't know what that means. I don't know the last two words that you're saying. Claiborne. I have two baby parrots and they will repeat anything they hear. Ooh. Guys want to hear a shadow person encounter? Thank you, Anna. Shadow person? Damien, have a blessed evening. Thank you for joining us. Now they won't stop singing. All right, shadow person it is. I've got a Maine Dogman encounter for after this, too. I was born and raised in a family of 17. I lived in Delano, California for the time of my 21 years. Here's what I can remember from my experiences. It started when I first saw this man with a brown raincoat and a hat. It was around 1998 at our first house here in Delano. From then on, I would see these shadow figures, though it would be different times, and as the years went by, until this month of the year. At around April of 2005, I was sleeping one night, and for some reason, I woke up and couldn't move. Seconds later, I felt something scratching my back. After that happened that night, I had strange dreams that I never had. A couple of months later, it happened again while I was asleep, but this time it was different. As I woke, I tried screaming again, but nothing came out. Seconds later, my legs had this electric feeling, and I was being pulled down because I had slept with my right knee facing the ceiling. As it was being pulled down, I heard laughter of little kids at the bottom of my right leg area. Then it was 2006, the month I don't remember. I came home one day from a function that night. As I had a tissue in my hand because we ate after the function, after I threw the tissue in the garbage can, for some reason I looked straight out into the backyard, and there I saw a shadow figure of a little girl. The figure looked like it was wearing a dress with a puffy bottom. As I was staring at it, tears were falling from my eyes, I guess out of fear. That same year, I woke again, not being able to move or scream, just stare. I woke up just staring at my door with this shadow figure of a woman. I could tell because I could see her long hair in the shape of a woman. She was just staring at me for what seemed like a minute and then disappeared. 2007, still happening, but different again. It started when I was coming home from church at around midnight. As my friends were dropping me off, I saw the figure of a tall, bald, skinny man standing at least 15 feet from the doorway. When we turned to make a little U-turn in front of the house, I saw it walk up and go into the house. What freaked me out was when I went inside, it disappeared. I asked my siblings if anyone came in before me, and they all said no. Then, a year later, it happened again, 2008. Same way, waking up, just lying there, unable to move. I saw my brother playing video games while he was sitting in the living room floor because I was sleeping on the couch of the living room. As I looked to my right, I saw this strand of green hair, but no figure. As I looked toward my brother trying to scream and looked back, it disappeared. Going toward the end of 2008, I would see the shadow figures. This time, they were all in the shape of a man. What is strange is that the figure was the first one to walk. I remember just waking up and it walked toward my closet while it looked at me. All I was able to do was stare and lie there. 2009, the beginning of the year, was something different. I was sleeping in my parents' room because I had fallen asleep with my disabled brother. I woke up the same way, but staring at the altar we have of Jesus and the Mother Mary, as well as Santo Nino figure. I woke up looking at it, then my eyes looked 5 feet from the restroom, and I saw this white, bright light saying Sarah. Then months later, I never saw the figure again. Instead, the shadows came back. The most recent experience was the worst. The date was earlier this morning at around 2 in the morning. I believe it was 2 a.m., November 28th, 2009. It stared when I woke up with the shadow figure of a man that looked medium-sized. As I was just looking at it, I didn't bother to try and scream. I was just thinking, oh, it's happening again in my head. I was saying, what do you want? Then it got worse. As I was looking at it and I asked that question, I saw it rush into me. I closed my eyes. I could feel my body shake as I started to hear this ringing noise and then popping in my ears. After that, I fell asleep. I've had no other encounters since. Not cool. Braden, someone's bullying you? What happened, Braden? I've had many shadow experiences. One messed me up good, though, about typing it out for the Dogman. Spirit level, I'd love to hear it. I do not, I definitely do not like shadow people. I don't like, yeah, I read that, Rafe. I don't like, Braden was talking about his birds bullying him. He's got 2 parrots, he said. That Ghosts of Carmel, Maine, that guy has some of the craziest footage caught of a shadow figure, and it's undeniably some of the greatest footage I've ever seen, minus what I caught at the Conjuring House with the stick figures. Crazy shit. That's crazy, Shell. I get bullied by my cats too. Patriotic Yank. It's the Ghosts of Carmel, Maine, and there's this one video. He's walking into his bedroom, and he's got these like drapes or curtains, whatever. They're kind of see through, but not really. And the window is obviously behind and you see the silhouette of a person. All of a sudden, it just drops. It's fucking gone. A person couldn't do that. Miss Firehorse. It's called The Ghosts of Carmel, Maine. Yeah, it was really crazy. And the guy's legit. Like, he's not some fucking hack troll. Sleep paralysis is really bad, Sandhoff. Caden, which Charlie Bronson am I? The one that plays in the movies or the badass from England? Because if I'm Charlie Bronson, I want to be the badass from England. Man, I can't wait until my beard comes back. Oh, I fucking hate this. That Charlie Bronson is a badass too. He's right up there with Clint Eastwood. I've had a sleep paralysis experience. I've shared it here, and I attribute it to the Ouija experience. Um, Here, I'll share it really quick. So everyone knows that in 2007 I was diagnosed with a terminal illness, and or if there is new people here, 2007 I was diagnosed with a terminal illness, manageable by medication. Um, Here's my pill box. These are my pills I have to take on a daily basis. But anyway, so 2007, diagnosed with this fucking strange illness, and I attribute it to the night that we were playing with the Ouija board when I was younger. And we were playing with the Ouija board. This was well before Zozo was ever talked about, okay? And you can't put a picture to the chat, Quinn. You can't. So anyway, my cousins and I, and I brought you guys to the farm one time with the with my camera. Anyway, ivermectin can't. I have PNH. It's a rare illness, and I'm still lucky to be alive. There's ivermectin, silver water, nothing can fix it. Like, it's just unfixable. If I take something else, I'll die. I'm not gonna try anything. I'm not joking. Like, anyway, we're playing with the Ouija, and it keeps spelling OZ OZ, and we're all kids. We're all metalheads. So we're like, Ozzy? We're talking to Ozzy? Oh, fuck, Ozzy? And so we keep seeing these weird things, like this plastic pushed out, and it looked like it was in the shape of a demon, right? So in the barn, there's this hatch in the ceiling. And on the second level of the barn is the hayloft. So because I was the youngest and the smallest, I always get pushed up into the hayloft to knock down the hay bales. So that night, I knocked down the hay bales, and I'm standing up there. It's pitch black. It's an old barn. My great uncle, when he built the barn, and my uncle, they never put electricity up there because it's a hayloft. And if like a spark went, the whole barn would go up. So there was no electric up there. I hear this scuffling, and I like look, and I see this kind of figure running at me, and I just jump down the hayloft hole, and I land on the concrete on my elbow. My feet land in the gutter, so my feet are all shit and piss. And we look up, and there's this hand that kind of. So me and my cousins run up to the house, and we get my dad, my uncle. They go up there. There's nothing up there. The next couple of weeks go by. We're still playing with the Ouija board, and my cousin gets this brilliant idea of, and this is crazy, and I never put two and two together at that point, but now I do. Where we'd play with the Ouija board was in this one part of the barn where there was birthing pens for the pigs. 3 litters of pigs were stillborn, so they were all dead. And where we were playing with this Ouija board. So my cousin puts piglet blood on the Ouija board, and then we start playing with the Ouija board with blood on it. All of a sudden, it starts going OZ, 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 OZ again. And we're like, we're done. We're done with this. I don't know what happened to the board. I don't know where it said we were going to die. It said we were going to see the hounds of hell. So it was my cousin Mel my cousin JR, and our friend Nikki, and me, right? So we all go up to the house and we end up crashing in my cousin's room. And he had a big room. His, he family's rich. He's a farmer. So there's like a couch, there's a ping pong table in his bedroom, just a huge fucking room. So my cousin Mel wakes up all covered in sweat, saying that he had a dream of some demon dog chasing him. Now, mind you, it said we were all going to die and that we'd see the hounds of hell. Like 5 years later, I have my Dogman experience, but it wasn't with just one Dogman, because if you guys remember when I shared the experience, there's multiple of them in the woods. We only saw one at the end of the road staring at us. So then in 2007, I'm diagnosed with PNH. It's a rare terminal illness. I technically should be dead. My specialist said it and still says it to this day, that he's surprised I'm doing this well. My cousin Mel is dead. He was crushed in a tractor trailer accident. He was working on a tractor trailer. The brake line snapped and it crushed him. My cousin JR died of cancer, and our friend Nick is spiritually dead. He is a male prostitute that lives, he's homeless in California, and he's a male prostitute, last I heard, like 3 years ago. He probably has AIDS or something by now. He might be dead. I don't know. So we'd see the hounds of hell and we'd die. I attribute all that to that night of the Ouija board, or that summer of the Ouija board. And everything that has happened in my life since, I think that it has something to do with that. Fucking weird though, like my cousin Mel was the one that crushed me the worst. No pun intended, because it was New Year's Day and he was working on the tractor trailer, and Stacy, I'm glad that you were saved. I really am. Yeah, Patriotic Inc., you should not play with a Ouija board ever. Ever. Thanks, Aramek. I appreciate that. And I didn't share that to make anyone feel bad for me or anything. It's just a fucking weird. When people say, okay, I believe that I believe I'm still here because God sees a purpose for me. Like I was addicted to pain medication, which led me into, at 17, I did my first pain medication, which led me into doing heroin. I never shot dope, but I snorted it, and a lot of it, and I should be dead, but I've been sober for 7 years. So I think all of that attributes to God having a higher calling for me, whatever it may be. I don't know. Exactly, Truth. Exactly. What's up, Brian Cook? How are you? Thank you, brother. I do have some black salt from Hawaii. I have black sea salt. And I have my bottle of holy water in my room with me right now at all times. I do. Thanks, Patriotic Inc. I appreciate that. I really do. I actually, when I started this channel, weighed 120 pounds, and now I weigh like 190. Caden, thank you, brother. I try. I got a really extra long. Brian, you're going to bed? Good night, brother. Thank you for joining us. It is all those hot dogs, Mr. Rollins. 59th savior of VHS. You're absolutely right. You are absolutely right. No, Janie, I don't do sage. I don't. And I'll tell you something that a lot of people believe that sage is like really good for cleansing. And I've heard that it obviously my aunt used to cleanse the house with it, and I hate the smell of it now. But I've heard where sage actually made a house that had a spirit there, made it worse. Braden, thank you, man. Honestly, I would stop if you can. It's hard. I mean, I'm an open book, you know. I am an open book. I've been on the Suboxone program since 2016. I'm not embarrassed of it. I want to live a better life, you know. I can't believe that I'm sober. I never thought I would be. I never thought I'd be doing this, talking to you guys, but I'm here and I love it. And I love all of you. So here we go. 2011, Washington, Maine. Joe Michaela, Washington, Maine. My old neighbor who committed suicide shortly after this experience came to me with this experience. We are both registered Maine guides, hunting, fishing, recreation. Guiding in Maine is a serious business. The criteria is strict, and guides are expert woodsmen with years of outdoors experience. Anyway, he confided in me about this sighting. He was hunting on his own property during deer season in 2011. The property is located in Jefferson/Washington town lines, which are also known the Knox/Lincoln county lines. In Maine, the particular property is a Christmas tree farm and is private property. My friend was watching a run where deer regularly traveled. Cutting through his property, he observed for about a minute a bipedal creature walking, with its upper body well above his Christmas trees. It had a wolf's head with muscular and covered in hair, but walked like a man. At the end of the sighting, the creature dropped to all fours, took off down the run. He was shaking when he told me this experience, and based upon my few years working law enforcement, I don't believe he was lying. Both of us guided bear hunters at the time. I know he was very familiar with bear and Maine wildlife in general. He made a particular emphasis on pointed ears. He said it looked like a werewolf. In Maine, people do see things. After that sighting, I carried a firearm going to my barn at night. I am certain that he told me the truth. Unfortunately, he, for some reason, committed suicide shortly after he told me about the sighting, which was very fresh at the time. The area has some very large tract of woods, which are very limited access due to it being private property. There is a stream passing through the area with some high ridges. Also, old cellar holes and stone walls are scattered throughout the forest beyond the property. Food sources are plentiful in the area, with old apple trees, berry patches. Turkey, deer, snowshoe hare, bear are present in the area, but not huge in numbers. Moose are also present, but again, not huge in numbers. While I still own a house very near the spot, I moved to South Dakota and have no intention on moving back to Maine due to the political economic reason. I am curious if other Maine folk have seen these things. It seems to me that people have, but always in hushed conversations about an uncle That's kind of sad, man. Like that poor guy. I've actually heard from a buddy of mine that lives in Western Maine that he heard from a person who has Penobscot descent, which is an Indian Indian tribe there, that supposedly a dog-like creature protects native burial grounds in Maine. Nicole, I don't know. I think it was like 2 or 3 years past that. So he might be like 55, 56. Thank you, Shell. I appreciate that. Thank you very much. Dumbs? Yeah, Choctaw do too. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. All right, guys, I'm going to do one more encounter. We've been doing this for 2 hours and 17 minutes. I'm going to do one more encounter, and then I'm going to end the live stream so I can put my daughter to bed. I got a crawler encounter from a subscriber. Good morning, Jeff. So I have many experiences I could share, and I've been very sensitive to the paranormal, and I've had multiple encounters with spirits, angels, demons, crawlers, and dogmen. I'm 43, almost 44, and I live in Pennsylvania. I just listened to your upload about the paranormal and how you were going out into the field soon. Like I said, I have many experiences I can share, and things still go on all throughout my life and currently. I was raised Catholic all my life, and I believe in God and the universe. I will say now that I am a witch, a white witch, a healer, a hood witch. So in 2012, I was hit by a drunk driver as I was crossing the street. I was hit at 50 miles an hour and pronounced dead at the scene, but I came back on my own, beat a coma, and horrible lifelong injuries as well as brain damage. Now, all of this plays into my experiences, but when I was hit by that car, I went somewhere else, to another side, and that experience is so long, so I'll skip to the end. I got sent back here on Earth with more gifts. Once I left the hospital, I went home, and then the struggle started. I had huge issues being sent back. I felt rejected at first by God, and I didn't understand until my later purpose and why. So one night in summer, I was midnight or later, summertime, my friend and I were outside smoking a cigarette. There was a full moon that lit up the entire field and area, and it was all around beautiful. As we were sitting there smoking, we heard a growl, and directly behind us, my driveway was darker than black than the night itself. A shadow was just sitting there. As a car passed and the headlights hit it, the lights didn't even penetrate it. It was that black. It was 10 feet from us. So I got up and started to walk toward it. My friend was terrified, and I don't know what came over me, but I kept walking. I wanted to reach out and touch it. The feelings of dread, sorrow, hopelessness, and anger come off this thing. As I went to touch it, my friend yelled and snapped me out of it, and we went inside. That thing stayed outside of my window in the driveway and let out this awful growl, which I thought surely would wake up the neighbors, but it did not. I started praying to the Lord, saying the Lord's Prayer, and it let out 3 horrible growls. Then I fell asleep. The next day, there were 3 scratches at my door with blood, which made no sense. I had a priest come and bless my house. We put pure salt on the windows and doors and crossed all over. A few weeks later, I was asleep and I was awoken by my ankle being pulled. I was frozen. I could move, and at the bottom of my bed, the blackness rose up, showing 2 huge red eyes. It spoke to me, but in my head. It told me how God did not want me and that it wanted my soul. It promised me beautiful things, but I knew it was lying. See, in my past, I did try to commit suicide, but that's another story. It told me to kill myself. It said crazy, weird things, and I couldn't move or make a noise. So I started praying in my head, and the creature went away. I have not seen any demons since. Soon after this, Dogman and crawlers popped up on our property. But like I said, many, many experiences. Now that time has passed, I understand things. My gifts from God. I get messages at times from one who had passed. I'm very sensitive to these things. My friends and family know this, and they see me shock people all the time when I get messages. Braden, please send me an email. I'd love to hear your experience. Yeah, it was a pretty crazy experience. Man, I was picturing this thing rise up, Damn. It is what it is. Thank you. Don't forget to email me and I'll send you if you want some money for those freeze-dried Skittles, let me know. Guys, I want to thank you for hanging out with me for 2.5 hours. I had a blast. Yeah, Sandhoff, that would be crazy, wouldn't it? So anyway, what's my email? I'm going to put my email. If anyone wants my email, it's going to be right here in the chat right now. God bless, Katie. Thank you. All right. Remember, homework for this weekend or for this week. The movie to watch is either VHS 85 or Dead End from 2004. 2 very good movies. And guys, 20. Oh, that's what I forgot to tell you. So, Mike Patton, when we were talking about $20 is $20. All right. So, Mike Patton he just did the concert with Mr. Bungle. He's wearing this black tank top, and it says, "I'm not gay. $20 is $20." I know it did, VHS. I know that. Check the movie out. VHS 85. Golden number. Have a good night. Guys, have a blessed evening. Thank you for hanging out with me. You should do NDE experiences. NDE, Stacy Brooks. NDE, what is NDE? Near death. Okay. Yeah, I've got a couple. Actually, this book right here, if you guys, Big Gun, we've been talking about a lot tonight. If you guys want to read like anything that's near death related, this book was written by a friend of mine, Jimmy Pettinito and William Hall. Jimmy Pettinito is in that movie about Father Malachi Martin called Hostage of the Devil. He also was the photographer and videographer for Ed and Lorraine Warren. This book talks about chilling phone calls, letters, and emails from unknown realms, people who have died in the past and stuff. So, guys, check this out. It's fucking good. Anyway, I love you guys. Thank you for what's the name of it? I'm sorry. Phantom Messages. It's an amazing book. I mean, gotta have them all autographed, right, baby? All right, guys, thank you for hanging out with me tonight. I had a blast like every other time we hang out. Be safe. Don't let your meat loaf. And make the best of this week. You know, just have a great week. Love you guys.